go. Underway, the championship game, Oklahoma and Utah State for a Myrtle Beach Invitational title. And there's a whistle after the Sooners won the opening tip. So we can sort this out. Of course, the Sooners in white, Utah State in that dark navy blue. Boy, really highly regarded crew. We got Pat Adams, Brian O'Connell, Greg Nixon. So we are in good hands for this one. Oklahoma defeated Indiana State and ECU to get here. This is Tanner Groves. Nice action here on the opening sequence. Hands it off to the junior, Jalen Hill.
And they love to run their offense out of that post, that high elbow area for Groves, who is a good passer and also a pick and pop guy.
There's Ryland Jones, the starting point guard, with a misfire. One shot and a one and done possession for the Aggies. Oh, a whistle, and that's a traveling violation. That was Jordan Goldwire, who's in that Dollar General starting five. He's one of a handful of new players this year for the Sooners. 6 transfers brought in by Porter Moser. Meanwhile, Ryan Odom had to do something similar. This is his starting five. Bean and Brock Miller, they are the mainstays, the captains who stayed in Logan, but Idle-Rock, Horvath, Jones all transferring in from other programs. Oh, and there's a rim run. Brandon Horvath.
Well, and there's the mismatch right there. Horvath was the tallest player on the floor for Utah State, but make no mistake about it, you have to treat him like a 3-man. Look at those guard skills and that speed. Could be a problem for Groves.
Well, he's a great three-point shooter as well. The former UMBC star came over with Ryan. Cross-court feed to Hill. Trying to go to work on Bean. Kept that pivot foot, but Horvath tips it out. Goldwire recovers. New 20 for Oklahoma. Goldwire, the Duke transfer, yep.
Yeah, good talk by Utah State to switch it back in the post.
Elijah Harkless offline that time. Now Utah State needed double overtime to beat Penn on Thursday, and then just blasted New Mexico State, led by as many as 40 at one point in that game.
And on the defensive side, Oklahoma will switch 1 through 5. That's a big part of their defense.
Hill, the taller defender on Jones. Here's Justin Bean, rises from the mid-range, down and out. Goldwire in a hurry. Umoja Gibson, number 2 in the white, one of the top scorers for Oklahoma. He goes for 12 a game, and he's got his first deuce.
I love his game. I mean, he is synonymous with aggressor. He is in attack mode at all times. The majority of his shots from 3, but he can get to the rack as well.
Yeah, the senior from Waco, and he's got a steal. Boy, Ryland Jones, miscommunication that time with the player on the wing. Oh, great cut to the bucket. Gibson found Groves. He's got 2 free throws.
You see the versatility. I mean, they use Groves as sort of a point center at times. He can pop on the screen. That time he rolls. There's not much he can't do on the offensive end. Good find by Gibson. Let's see here. Gets this pick. Roll. Just got to recover quicker. I think that's the down man, Idle-Rock, 5 in blue, that needs to just hold him up for 1 second so Horvath, his teammate, can recover down.
Yeah, he's really versatile. There's the stat line on Friday, 24 points. He's not shy, 10 of 15 from the field. He'll let it fly. Then what else do you have to do? How do you try to contain a player like Groves today?
You got to try to limit his touches because he's so involved and his usage rate is so high on offense. Even if you can deny him the ball some, not only are you taking his shot away, but the rest of the offense can't flow as well for the Sooners if he's involved less.
Oklahoma and Utah State title game of the Myrtle Beach Invitational. 30,000 days. That's how much time has passed since these two last played. A rivalry game, 82 and a half years in the making. Oklahoma won that game, by the way, back in 1939. After the misfire, Oklahoma has a chance to extend the lead, and Hill's pass was lofted a little too far, but it was last touched by the Aggies.
The stars so far for the Aggies in this tournament have been Bean and then 15 in blue Jones. I mean, those have been the stars. But today, Horvath might be the most important player because he's getting the assignment on Groves, and he might be able to bother him. Not as heavy of a build, but slider with his feet.
Yeah, Horvath giving up about 25 pounds. Groves leaves his first triple short. Jones looks ahead. Horvath, quick first step. Got caught underneath the rim. And there's Bean. Dan, he's just got great instincts. Picks up a loose basketball and can score it quick.
And I think you might have to consider putting Groves on Bean, who's not as big of a threat from three the way Horvath is, because right now, Horvath is blown right by Groves in this man-to-man closeouts on the perimeter.
It's going to be a chess match today. Gibson, rise and fire. That's good. Umoja Gibson, the fifth-year senior. He's a great shooter. Better than 40% a year ago. From deep. Oklahoma by 5. Well, there's the switch. RJ Idlerock. Yeah, he's got a little more size on Gibson. And the senior from London has his first bucket.
Off to a little bit of a slow start. The transfer, trying to find his role with this team. Good to see him be aggressive out of the gates.
Hill looking for Groves. He barges into Horvath, and just an off-balance shot that time, and Bean has his second rebound. Idlerock was looking for Bean. He's got Gibson shadowing him in the far corner. Brock Miller, no. Hill accelerates straight down the lane. Now back out to Harkless. And 0 of 2 start from deep for the senior. Both teams 3 of 8 from the field to begin. Sooners by 3. Size advantage, and Bean, oh, he missed it. Didn't have the touch that time with the right hand. Harkless turbos in for 2.
Well, how many times does a missed layup lead to an easy layup for the team on the other end? Harkless is coming down your throat. The athleticism of Oklahoma may be a huge factor in this game. The Aggies have not faced this good of a defensive team or athletic team so far in this short season.
Oklahoma's looking to push it in transition early on. Bean faces up on Harkless. 7 to shoot, and Idlerock steps into the mid-range. No. Take a look as these Sooners get up and down the floor. Kids allowed to put some stuff on the wall like, Dad, increase my allowance, please?
Not quite. We're not going for that one. I mean, the Rick Majerus sayings, I mean, that's where it all started from is, I mean, he's got a book of them. Anybody that's ever coached under the great late Rick Majerus knows he was not short on really good practical sayings and terminology.
The freshman off the bench, Austin Mason, misfires on his first look. Yeah, those 4 years he spent with Majerus before he got the Loyola Chicago job, he said, were really instrumental in his growth as a coach. You know, he learned about, quite simply, became a little more organized. Majerus journaled and wrote a lot of things down. His notes were very meticulous. And there's one thing we learned from Porter Moser's practice yesterday, very meticulous, detail-oriented as they prepare for an opponent. After the foul, Utah State inbounds underneath, and there he is, the emerging star, Justin Bean, with his first basket, making his second.
That's a tough 2, and not a bad job by Groves. I mean, you want to make Bean earn it, and so far they have not allowed him to get many clean looks at the rim.
Harkless drive and kick. 3 in the air, C.J. Nolan missed it long. Oh, Ashworth and Hill bodying for the loose basketball and a jump ball. Possession arrow favors the Aggies.
And that's why these two teams are in the championship right now. Yes, they're talented. Yes, they're well coached. But these guys have all-out effort every single time. They've been giving championship effort in the opening round. It's not just today. Very consistent energy from both of these clubs.
But, you know, Dane, a lot of roster turnover, but the players that both coaches brought in, they came from winning programs, so there's a lot of freshness, but you're seeing this synergy on each roster thanks to kind of the winning DNA inside a lot of these players.
I think that's a big point. They're not just transfers. There's transfers that have won before and understand what it takes.
Oh, Brock Miller wide open as the shot clock was winding down. And let's see if the senior from Sandy, Utah, has been known throughout his career as a shooter, can ignite a little bit. It's been a rocky shooting weekend for Miller.
He's a catch-and-stick kid, though, and he's got a lot of confidence. Have to be there.
Nolan splashes the answer. C.J. Nolan, the freshman from Texas, has OU back ahead by 3. Steve Ashworth off the pine, and he's fouled on the way in.
And this he's added the three-point shot, and he worked his tail off in the offseason. Coach Odom said, look, we didn't change much. He's just got more confidence, and we worked on his footwork. And now he's much more shot ready, and his confidence is through the roof.
Danny's already notched back-to-back 30-point double-doubles this year. We've only played 4 games. Not a bad birthday week, huh? He turned 25 on Wednesday.
You heard that number right, 25.
Yes.
There's some old dudes on this Aggies team, which makes them all the harder to handle.
All right, Oklahoma just threw it away to Horvath. Ashworth in to work in the backcourt with Rylan Jones. And he's got Tanner Groves, his brother, shadowing him. That's Jacob, number 34. Horvath puts up 3 fingers. He's got his first 3. The senior, a 1,000-point scorer. Danny's been lights out. He's 13 of 20 from deep this year, 65%. Nolan can't answer. Miller wants it, and he's got it. Back-to-back threes for the Aggies. Utah State was down 11-6. All of a sudden, a 13-3 run over the last 3.5 minutes. And Oklahoma trying to respond with threes from beyond the arc. They're just 2 of 9 now from deep.
They're a team that's better from 2 than 3. In fact, they're elite from 2, so they got to pound it inside, whether it's through pick and roll or traditional post-ups and slips. There you go.
Yeah, give it to the big man. There were 3 Navy jerseys around Groves in transition. The Aggies with a little swagger now, up by 5. They've hit 3 triples, 50% from deep early. Goldwire bodying with Bean. Slips by, and he threw it away to Nolan. He jumped the passing lane. Nolan accelerates in for a bucket.
You can tell he played football in high school. I mean, he just barrels through, and if the defense isn't going to stop you, then take it all the way to the rack.
Past the midway mark, championship game in Myrtle Beach. 3rd game in 4 days for these 2. Ashworth pulls it. Boy, the extreme hustle, but that one was just bouncing too far out of Ashworth's reach.
The Aggies are going to have to pick and choose their spots. Because of the switching 1 through 5 of the Sooners, you're going to get some matchups that you like better than others. And so when the big switches out on the guard, I think you got to look to take advantage of those. And my preference would be Rylan Jones, 15 in blue, as he's a little bit better penetrator, decision maker in the lane. So once you get that switch, throw it right back to the guard, let him go to work.
How good has Jones been this weekend?
Oh, absolute warrior. You talk about a charge taker. It's not too much to think he might get 3 of them in this game.
A transfer from Utah. By the way, a foul underneath. So that's the 2nd team foul on Utah State. Trevin Dorius, number 32 in the middle there, whistled for his first. Ethan Chagwa, this is his specialty. He's a shooter. Aggies in a hurry. Bean, oh, that was Gibson who poked it away. Nice anticipation.
Yeah, on paper it looks like a mismatch, but Gibson's an absolute pest, and he bothers the bigger defender. You aren't going to get much on number 2.
Boy, he was invisible behind the wider body Bean, and then a split second later, just bounces right in front of him. The athleticism from Gibson. Oklahoma can't cash in as the 4th Sooner turnover. Idle Rock hits back rim. Hill clears it. Goldwire working off the Shagwa screen. Foul in the interior.
Kevin, I mentioned
that's an idle rock.
The Sooners really need to not settle from three. 10 attempts from deep already. They got to remind themselves, wait a minute, there's not a better team in the country from two.
Yeah, look at this.
According to Kim Palm, the stats don't lie. And so you can't take the bait. Utah State wants them to settle from three. 10 field goal attempts from beyond the arc. Too many in this early going.
It's November. I don't know if there's another portal that I'm using more than Ken Palm this time of day, or this time of year, I should say. 3-point lead for Utah State. And a 15-foot jumper down and out for Goldwire. Oklahoma 6 out of 18 from the field to start. Jones way off. Here's the Bahrainian freshman underneath. Zihamoda got caught twisted underneath the rim. Not get a clean look the second chance, but it does stay here. 8:01 to go in the first. My Porter Moser, Dane, talk about a reconstruction. Lon Kruger retires. And let's acknowledge where Oklahoma has been. It's been to 7 of the last 8 tournaments, and Porter Moser said, this place was left in good hands. I had to rebuild the roster. I didn't have to rebuild the culture. He has acknowledged that frequently over the last few months.
The cupboard wasn't bare from a history and tradition standpoint, but the cupboard was pretty bare from the Jimmies and Joes that you got to need to win these games. And then the challenge of doing so many of these recruitments over Zoom.
Yep.
You know, how well can you pitch yourself? Well, Porter Moser showed you he can sell you on campus or sell you over the internet. But right now, the Sooners are realizing these Aggies are no joke. Utah State up 3 early. Big Sky Player of the Year, had plenty of opportunities. But what really drew him to Coach Moser was how Coach Moser uses the big man. You think about Cameron Krutwig at Loyola Chicago and how an integral part of the offense the 5-man is. Grove's a little bit different player than Krutwig. His ability to pick and pop, but can still pass out of the post. Right now, Grove's on the bench. Sooners going to see if they can't manufacture some offense without their big man.
Yeah, he's 0 of 3 from the field. Hill going to work, but missed it right at the 10. That's a foul, though, on Utah State. Yeah, I think Moser joked at the time, Groves had like 300 schools reach out, but he picked Oklahoma. Foul here, Dane.
Oh, yeah, a little late whistle, but once you saw it come up short like that, I think the official knew. A little bit of forearm there.
First on Horvath. Jalen Hill, the junior from Vegas, one of the returning players. It was he, Gibson, Harkless, that were part of last year's rotation that were critical returners for Oklahoma to have some success this year. Kind of an X factor. You saw what he does there. He blocks a lot of shots, a great leader for this team, and Groves back in.
Yeah, and he'll get the assignment at times on the best interior player for Indiana State. He took on Cameron Henry. Maybe not going to lead the team in scoring, but if he can give him double digits and be that reliable guy where you know what you're going to get each night, that would be something I know Coach Moser would welcome with open arms.
Jalen Hill, by the way, just got whistled, Dane, for his second.
I mean, he's like Mike Tyson Punch-Out, the old Nintendo game. I mean, he's just in there.
Oh, man.
The little guy on the court taking blows, and usually a small guy is sitting there wondering if he wants to stand on the track when the train's coming through, and he's saying, yes, I am. You're going to feel me too.
He's earned an NIL deal with the ice bath in the facility. 8 to shoot. Ashworth falling down. Oh, an improvisation that time. But the sophomore gets it to go. And the lead stretched back to 3 for the Aggies.
He's giving them some good minutes off the bench. 4 points, 2 assists, running the show on offense, giving Ryland Jones a little bit of relief at the point guard position.
Gibson to Harkless, wants a 3, and he puts it in. Elijah Harkless with 5. Tie game, 6:15 to go. Championship game of the Myrtle Beach Invitational. Undoubtedly the best matchup we could have hoped for. Justin Bean drills the three.
So Bean's been a little bit quiet in this first half. Just 7 points, 8 rebounds. I mean, he's almost got a double-double, and we haven't even said his name that much. Dude just produces, man.
And he had that 33-point, 16-rebound double-double in the opener of this tournament. First Aggie to go 30 and 15 in 41 years. That's a long time. There's Jacob Groves. That's the younger brother of Tanner. He's now 0 of 2 from the field. Jones pulls it. Bean, rebound number 9, and he keeps the dribble. He's just everywhere, very slippery. Jones looked like he slipped and lost it. Gibson, it's a heat check.
I love watching this kid Gibson, man. I mean, he's just a scorer. And the confidence he plays with, the chip on his shoulder. North Texas transfer.
He's got 8 points. He's 3 of 3 from the field. I can get it back to him. Next chance the Sooners can. Ashworth, that just barely grazed the rim. 24 up. Groves now tries it. And Daney still held without a field goal. Now 0 of 4, so a slow start for the redshirt senior from Spokane. Look at this, Jones wide open, and the acrobatic finish. The freshman Z Hamoda with the vision that time.
Just when you think Jones is coming off the down screen, he back cuts. And there's such a threat from 3, you're trying to beat him over the top.
Now Groves this side, and Oklahoma continues to struggle from deep. They're 4 of 15.
I like it.
Just that quick step. You referenced to watch this matchup, how Groves could defend Horvath, and he just had to hack him on the way in.
Yeah, you got to make the big fella move his feet. Go where you have the advantage. You got the quicker big man. Use it, but watch this great pass. Oh, this is going to be the off the dribble play before was the pass to Jones. But yeah, as I said earlier, I thought Horvath might be the most important player in this game, given what we just saw.
Oh, who is that to? To Goldwire. Just shields off the defender, and Jordan Goldwire, the Duke transfer, is on the board with his first basket. So Oklahoma capitalizes on a freebie there. Max Scholga into the game. That's 11 in the Navy. Ashworth, Bean. Oh, Ashworth, I think, was trying to fling it to Bean, and it hit the rim instead. Harkless, no. Boy, a torrid sequence now late in this first half, and Tanner Groves cleans up the boards. Oklahoma by 2. Aggie.
Really a quick 4-0 run by Oklahoma. You see how quickly Utah State turns the ball over without their leader and their quarterback on the court. But they can't just play them 40 minutes. You got to keep them fresh.
So Ashworth back to the bench, and you're right, Idle Rock back on the floor, Horvath, Miller, Bean. Scholga remains in, so their point guard, Ryland Jones, it's a little further breather, although he's walking towards the scorer's table now. 1 to shoot, Miller, nope, they threw it away. Idle Rock, a little too much dribbling. He taps his chest, signaling he realizes the error. Oklahoma takes it.
Jones goes out, 3 consecutive turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, that can't happen. You got to protect the ball, manufacture some offense. And several times, that was the only dead ball turnover. The other 2 have been live ball, leading to extra points.
So it's a 7-2 Oklahoma run. Now Gibson, rise and fire. No. Gibson was previously 3 of 3. Jones back in, number 15 in the Navy. Bean turns. Jones cut off by Groves. They switch back. Boy, nice defensive sequence here for Oklahoma. Horvath, he got bumped, and they whistle Groves for his second. So Dane 2 on Hill, 2 on Groves, and here comes Ethan Shagwa off the bench, set to check in.
And Kevin, this is the most aggressive we've seen Horvath be in this tournament. Yeah, he's been a pick and pop guy, and he'll get some buckets around the basket. But in terms of attack mode, he's not looking to pass the ball, and you can tell it's a conscious effort to make Groves work defensively. As a result, 2 fouls on the valuable big man who heads to the bench.
Horvath came over from UMBC with Ryan Odom. New era of Utah State basketball. Same consistency, though. 3 straight 20-win seasons. Idle Rock fouled on the way in. And he heads to the stripe for 2. First foul on Gibson.
Talk about aggressiveness. Here's Idle Rock as well. And he's done a nice job of asserting himself a little bit more in this game. He's really a composed player. Nothing flashy about his game, but certainly someone that Coach Odom's reliable, or he can rely on, given their history at UMBC.
I don't know if we could have asked for 3 better championship games on this Championship Sunday edition of Feast Week. And by the way, it's not over. St. Bonaventure Marquette at 7:30. That's the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic Championship. Then later on, Arizona and number 4 Michigan in the Roman main event. That's at 9:30. Goldwire, close range look, and a second chance for Shagwa. Foul on the floor. 2:05 to go until half, Dane.
Yeah, I like the attack there. Inside shots lead to inside rebounds. As Seth alluded to, plenty of shooters on the court for Oklahoma, but again, 17 of their 28 shots have been from 3. That's just not a ratio I like, given how productive they typically are from 2.
Well, I wouldn't like it either if you're 4 of 17 from 3. That's 24%. 5 to shoot. Harkless 15 feet out. Off balance, Jay. Jones the board. It's a loose ball foul on Utah State. And Pat Adams gets, I think it was Miller.
Yeah, it was.
That was the first on Miller.
Yeah, this is just really good effort by Noland. I mean, look at him crash the glass there. Miller with a little bit of a shove in the back. But that's all effort by 22 and White.
Yeah, he's got that football build. You were right on earlier when you said the football background, and Baylor offered him when he was a freshman in high school, decided to focus on basketball. That's actually going to be a loose ball foul on Oklahoma, and that's the 8th team foul, so 1-and-1 coming.
Almost every team shoot around you go to, you hear Coach say, we got to make them take tough 2s. Well, Utah State is making Oklahoma take tough 3s and tough 2s. Oklahoma not getting many clean looks around the basket, pretty frustrated. And I thought that's where Oklahoma could have a little bit of an edge, given the fact that Utah State's a little bit light down low. But they've really held their own defensively.
Horvath now 6 of 10 from the stripe. Yesterday, in Oklahoma, I mean, just too much firepower offensively for Indiana State. That game was close early in the second, but you look at what the Sooners did. 52% from the field, 9 of 21 from deep, and it's a different story today against the Aggies.
Uncharacteristic.
Horvath banked it in.
they'll take it,
yep.
Especially a championship game. But Coach Mosier's teams, even at Loyola Chicago, always over 50% from the field. So they'll push when they can, opportunistic there, but typically at a higher efficiency rate in the half court.
Boy, drive and kick. Goldwire set up Harkless nicely, and the follow back in. That's Shagwa in the right position, the SMU transfer.
Yeah, he's a big body. That's a tough matchup for Horvath. Good job by Shagwa taking advantage of his weight.
Nolan Falls being just very crafty around the rim, and he's nearing another double-double. That's 9 points, 11 rebounds. My goodness, 11 boards for Bean in the first half. A timeout with 50. He has emerged as favorite perhaps for tournament MVP. Went for 33 and 16 on Thursday. is a point away from a double-double in the first half. It would be his 4th of the year in 5 games.
Utah State has only played maybe 1 possession of zone this year, but they come out of it to try to confuse the Sooners out of the timeout.
Whoa.
I like the use of it.
Oklahoma struggling from deep, 4 of 19 from downtown. What's the adjustment for Oklahoma then offensively after they regather themselves at half?
Yeah, I think you got to turn some down. Maybe take the second one, but don't forget, you can penetrate and get to the paint off your dribble as opposed to always back cutting or feeding the post. And Groves out with 2 has really hurt their offense.
Bean, quick trigger. Noland. 5 seconds left. Noland eyes up. Just charges into the front court. Left it short. And Utah State carries a 2-point edge into half. Championship game. Myrtle Beach Invitational. 20 down. And what did he wind up? Just 1 of 5 from the field. That's all.
And he takes a lot of pride in his game. And I think some of those defensive breakdowns that he had on Horvath maybe hurt him a little bit too of getting going on offense. He's an accountable player. Look for him to bounce back.
Now here he is. Spins on Horvath, falls down. Horvath started to rotate those wrists to signal travel, and Greg Nixon says no, that's a foul first. Second on Horvath.
And right on cue, the Sooners say, you know what? We're going to start this possession in the paint, and we're going to pound it inside. Pretty good defense there by Utah State. Certainly could have been a travel.
You've been saying that a lot today. Pretty good defense by Utah State. They smashed New Mexico State in yesterday's, or make it Friday's, semifinal. At one point held a 40-point lead in that game. Needed double overtime to slip by Penn. And so here's Utah State now tied with the Sooners after the Harkless basket. Jones dishes to Idle Rock. A fortuitous bounce. It careens towards Bean. Grove switches on to Idle Rock. Jones 5 to shoot. Miller frees himself. Lets it go. Left it short. And here's Goldwire with the board. Good action here. Gibson always has the green light from 3. That time was way off. Left it off to the right. Gibson had 8 in that first half. 2 of 4 from deep. Miller jab step. He had Groves leaning back. 2 programs with retooled rosters. New head coaches that came from winning programs. And they're meeting in an early season test in Conway. And that's a great, you can see him, he was frustrated, grabbing his head. And that's a basket that Groves has to make.
Yeah, and Harkless does exactly what he was taught in shoot around yesterday. That lob pass is going to be there on the roll. He put it right on the money, just could not finish.
Look at Jones, slippery to the basket. And both teams are trading point-blank misses. Oh, Jordan Hill soars at the rim. He glides in for 2.
Beautiful find by Goldwire. And you talk about sprinting the floor. You can't do it any better than that.
So Jalen Hill with 6. Idle Rock, got it. That's a foul inside. And Dane, that's going to be the second on Horvath this half, making his 3rd overall.
This is a really nice find in transition, and what happens is after the point guard misses the layup, not everybody's back. Oklahoma got numbers, but that is a big foul. 3rd on Horvath, as you mentioned. Yes, he was giving up some weight on Groves, but you were gaining speed and agility. See if Groves can't be a little bit more comfortable now with a 7-footer on him. That's not quite as fast as Horvath.
Yeah, there's Gibson. He went to work on him. Him is Trevin Dorius. He's the seldom used 7-footer. Wow, Jones went. Oh, he hit that that scores table hard. He is down. And that is Ryan Odom, the training staff, making their way over there quickly. Boy, Jones with an incredible effort. This is the junior from Holiday, Utah. And his teammates watching on. Well, Jones again tended to. He's moved his arms. And he's certainly talking right now with the staff, but Dean, he went careening into that scores table hard.
There was a collision. Was it Hill? So he gets the.
Oh.
He first takes the blow from Hill there. That would be on his left side, and then slams his back into that scores table. You could never, ever question the effort of Jones.
And Pat Adams just came over to acknowledge incidental contact there, that bump with Hill. And this is a phenomenal sign to see Jones up. You see his teammate, his brethren there, Horvath, guiding him back towards the bench.
You may find a kid as tough in college basketball, but not one tougher than Rylan Jones. This kid is all-out effort all the time.
2 points today, but Danny's averaged close to 15 a game over the first 4. Leads this club in steals and assists per game. Ryan Odom says he's the commander, just in total control out there. A couple of years at Utah. Remember, his father, Chris, was an assistant at Utah State from 09 to 2016. Logan is a second home for Rylan Jones. So he decided this offseason, with the coaching change, I'm going to enter my name into the transfer portal. I'm going up to Logan to play for Ryan Odom. And again, this is a great sign. He's walking on his own. That was not a pretty collision with, as you acknowledged earlier, number 1, Jalen Hill, and then the scores table. There's still the bottom right corner at the G is, you've got a light panel out, and that is how significant the collision was. So now you have Jones off the floor. He has been a very unflappable point guard to start the year for Utah State, and Idle Rock is going to have the ball in his hands a lot more. He and Steve Ashworth. So,
Kevin, remember in the first half when Jones went out, the Aggies immediately had 3 consecutive turnovers, so they must handle the absence of his presence.
Oh, the 12th rebound, Justin Bean. He earns himself 2 free throws to try to tie it up.
He always gets himself in great offensive rebounding position because he's so active. And many times he's down in the paint because he's cutting to the basket, looking for those spoon feeds. Oklahoma has done a really nice job not letting him get any easy twos. But that's where the battle just begins when you're playing against Justin Bean.
Yeah, the more Oklahoma native. He just turned 25 on Wednesday. Well, it's been a busy offseason for him. He got married. He was named the All-Mountain West Conference first-team selection and struck himself a deal. You know, when you got the last name Bean, you know, taco time is going to come calling. I don't know. I'm a little more of a steak burrito guy myself, but look, his last name isn't carne asada. He's got to work with what he's got here.
You got to love it.
So there you go, back on July 29th, striking the deal with a pretty good taco shop from what we're told in Logan. That long J offline for Hill. So Bean, with those free throws, not only knots things up, it's his 30th career double-double. He's got 4 to start this season. And Ryan Odom was the recipient of that pass. The problem is he's not on the floor, nor are you allowed to throw it to him. And that's a turnover. So, look, no Rylan Jones and no Brandon Horvath on the floor for Utah State right now. This is a big moment for Oklahoma to see if it can start a rally. Groves wants 3, and he nails it. First triple for Tanner Groves, and can he spark in this game?
Well, and no coincidence, the best look he gets of the game is with Horvath out and the big man, 7 feet, 240 pounds, Trevin Dorius, having to guard the pick and pop. Now
to take on the University of San Francisco. They played that game inside the Chase Center. That was because the Warriors played the night before. The team got to watch Steph go off for 40 and topple the Bulls. They later flew to Charlotte, of all places, to take on the Hornets the next day. So not only did the team and many Davidson athletic department staff and personnel get to watch Steph, they got to practice there. I mean, again, playing for Davidson, there's some perks.
Yeah, how many mid-majors can claim that one?
Yeah.
But big news here. 15, Rylan Jones, as if there was any doubt, checks back in the game. You can knock him down, but you can't knock him out.
Boy, had the wind knocked out of him when he went flying into the scorer's table. Here's Groves. Just buried a triple a few moments ago, and look at that long reach. He just flings it up at the rim, and Groves starting to get cooking here. He is 9.
Again, that's one where Horvath would be able to cut him off and make him change directions on the penetration. Curious how long Coach Odom keeps Horvath on the bench.
Jones, deep 3. Groves snags it. Horvath, the versatile 6'10 forward. He's on the bench with 3 fouls, but Dane, there he is. He's at the scorer's table, set to check in.
There's the pop again. Oh, Goldwire misses him.
But he's open. Another. No. 14 rebounds for Justin Beam. Crossover. Beautiful vision. Dorius was right there and blew it. 3-point lead for Oklahoma. It trailed by 2 at the break. This has been a close game all afternoon. Groves, and he's got one more. Lets out the roar.
Well, the biggest play of the game so far was Horvath's 3rd personal foul. And all of a sudden, Groves, who struggled to get going, now has 3 makes in the last several possessions for Oklahoma. And Horvath's going to check back in. See if he can't slow Groves down again, but it's not that easy to say, okay, I'm back on you, I'm going to shut you down. Once a player like Groves gets some momentum going, confidence, he's got a full head of steam now.
It's a 14-6 run to start the second half for Oklahoma. So Horvath playing with 3 fouls. Dane, that's pretty much a 5-point swing right there. Dorius misses the little bunny on the other end, the 3-point play. And the Sooners have a 6-point lead. It's largest of the afternoon.
Well, and here's where they've gotten it. 6 for 11 from the field, but just 1 of 4 from 3, so a much more conscious effort to make it an interior game.
Well, Jones with the handles there. He just had Groves. That's the younger Groves. Jacob, Tanner's little brother, on skates. 4-point game. Myrtle Beach Invitational Championship. Gibson buries another. Umoja Gibson into double figures for the 5th time this year.
It's amazing when you let the 3-point shooters take 3s and the 2-point guys take 2s. Now Oklahoma's rolling offensively.
That's now 3 for Gibson. Again, Bean, he just slides into the right spot, and Jones found him. Give him one more at the line.
Well, this has been a tough game for 34 and White. Just too many defensive breakdowns when he's been in the game. And you have to keep an eye on Bean at all times. You cannot ball watch. He is going to cut behind you every single possession. Oklahoma had done such a nice job of not allowing these back cuts. But if you take 1 second off, Bean is there. And here he is with a very efficient game so far. 5 of 8 from the field.
Again, look at his production this weekend. 14 points, 14 rebounds. That's like a pedestrian outing for him. He has quickly emerged as the very early Mountain West Player of the Year candidate. He's got 4 double-doubles, averaging better than 20 points, 12 boards a game. Goldwire hands it. Largest lead for Oklahoma. Bean lets it fly for 3. Punch, counter punch sequence right now. Alston Mason, the freshman, into the game. Bounces down to Hill. Turns, righty hook, no, and another board for Bean. Jones, head of steam. Gets by the freshman, but not Hill.
That is a big-time defensive play by Hill. Using your principal verticality, jumping up, but keeping the hands above your ears. And love this inside-out basketball pass here to Goldwire. And then we mentioned you hadn't seen much of it this game, but he's added that to his arsenal. Bean now 2 of 2 from deep. And Kevin, we mentioned on the outset that this has a feel like the NCAA first round matchup, a 7-10 type game. You're seeing why. I mean, these teams are trading blows. A ton of talent, versatility across the board. Terrific scouting and effort, top notch.
Yeah, make no mistake, while there has been plenty of roster turnover and head coaching changes for both squads, the expectation for both is tournament. Horvath offline. Bean comes flying in, and the foul goes against Oklahoma. That's the 3rd on Harkless, all 3 after half. And so Utah State gets another look. And why did that foul get called? Take a look.
It's just relentless. Bean just keeps working. Harkless does all he can. And I felt like he had a pretty good box out there. Stays in contact with him. Bean jumps on his back, really. I don't think Harkless undercut him. Good position. Tough call.
Jones, step back. Boy, that is the 17th rebound for Justin Bean, unless they whistle Oklahoma for the foul just beforehand. Regardless, Utah State has possession when we return. A lot of first-year head coaches, some success, and look, the expectations for both of these teams, Dane, is tournament. That's where they have lived in recent years.
This is a way to build your resume, get some confidence for your team. Now, what you do in November might not matter that much in March, but this is part of the process, especially for these first-year coaches at their respective programs. Good drive by Idle Rock, getting himself to the rack.
That's the UMBC transfer. He's 1 of 2 that came with Ryan Odom, and he uses that big frame to bruise into the paint. 2-point game. Coming up on the midway mark of the second half. That's Groves, good position.
See, you wonder if that shot goes in if he doesn't get the rhythm when Horvath was out. I mean, now Groves is rolling, and credit Coach Mosier and the halftime adjustment they've made to go inside first, outside second, and they are extremely efficient in this second half.
Now it's Bean trying to body with Groves. That's the 3rd on the big man, but you're right, he has 10 of his 14 after halftime.
Well, he buries Horvath, and Horvath, again, with those 3 fouls, maybe he isn't as aggressive to fight around in front and be active. So now all of a sudden, not only you have Groves who's confident, but he's got a defender who's a little bit worried about picking up number 4.
Well, now it's almost straight up. They both playing with 3 fouls. So Groves takes a seat away from Eastern Washington. Remember back in the first round of the NCAA tournament last March, went for 35 in that first round game against Kansas. He and his brother, boy, they gave the Jayhawks just about all they could handle there.
Yeah, I don't think you need to submit much more film than 35 against Kansas in the NCAA tournament when you hit the transfer portal.
Who's interested?
Yeah.
So Tanner and Jacob, they both were added to the Oklahoma roster. They're not the first set of brothers, by the way, to wear the Oklahoma. Remember these guys? Remember Blake and Taylor back in the late 2000s?
I don't know that I've ever seen a leaper in college basketball like Blake Griffin. I mean, Vince Carter comes to mind, Blake Griffin, and after that, I got to do some thinking.
Sooners up 4. Jones gathers, kicks to Idle Rock. 4 to shoot. Jones lances up, realizes it. Shot clock violation, and that's making Ethan Shagwa with just a smart heady play, put the hand straight up, didn't foul.
Well, Coach Moser talks about simplifying the terminology, hands behind ears, when he talks about walling up, and that's exactly what he wants. Outstanding discipline there by 15 and White.
Boy, his practices, they are meticulous, Dane. They're detail-oriented. They are spirited.
And it's going to take all that because this Utah State team is very mature. I mean, they're old. They've gone on, many of them gone on 2-year missions, either prior to coming or while at Utah State. 5 guys on this team are married. So these guys have perspective, and they're not going to lay down to Oklahoma one bit.
Nice battle in Conway. And Nolan watched that one spin down and out. And C.J. Nolan, the freshman, 1 of 4 from deep.
Man, Hill's been good defensively.
Now look at him, cut off Bean.
Yeah, he's been so good.
And they're chatting a little bit. Bean was asking for a foul. Idle Rock nearly dribbled it between Hill's legs. Unfortunately, that wasn't intentional. It's a jump ball. And boy, Utah State is bailed out by the possession arrow.
You look at the stat line, and Jalen Hill's got 6.7 boards, but that doesn't tell the whole story. He has been one heck of a defender for the Sooners.
The X Factor, Jalen Hill from Vegas. He's helped his Drew Timme, Dane. 21 a game. He obviously went for 37 in that other top 5 battle against Texas last week.
Clinic against the Longhorns, and credit to programs like Gonzaga for going out and scheduling hard. I mean, they're getting themselves prepared for March. No panic if you drop one of those. You want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Horvath at the line after the timeout, or after the foul, I should say. So it's a 1-and-1.
Boy, early in this half to be on the 1-and-1. See if that can't really play to the Aggies' advantage.
Did Tanner Groves just kind of going with the Drew Timme look, by the way? Similar game, I'll tell you what. Groves, he has manifested his way into the Big 12 and has definitely performed. He's turned some heads in the first couple weeks of the season, averaging 18 and 7. He's got 14 but 3 fouls on the bench.
Yeah, he can look the part, neck up, but those feet on Timme, I don't think anybody can see him like that. Ooh, nice penetration.
Gibson, he's the marksman, and yes, it falls through. That's his 4th triple, and Oklahoma's lead is back to 5. Look at the difference, bottom right, huh?
Yeah, I think they've been more selective with their 3-point shooting. 4 of 8 this half compared to 4 of 19.
Championship on the line. Nolan strips it away. Beautiful feed. Shagwa on the reverse.
Boy, Nolan is a straight line driver. When he pushes the fast break, it is end to end. Big time results there. Beautiful feed.
Largest lead of the game for Oklahoma. Horvath dribbled it off of a Sooners foot. Idle Rock fouled. Porter Moser is irate. He thought Shagwa was straight up.
Well, they share the ball extremely well. Extra pass. Gibson knows what to do with it. And Nolan again is going to initiate this one. Instead of the hockey assist, he's going to do this himself. Gets to the middle of the court. Beautiful one-hand feed. Way to sprint the court, and man, I love the way Oklahoma has been running Utah State off the 3-point line a little bit, making the Aggies play off the bounce a little bit more. If you can make the Aggies play off the bounce and watch the back cutters, that's what you want. Make them do one-on-one type plays, and you see some successful possessions here recently by the Sooners.
Now Dane Groves back into the game. Again, he has 14. on 5 of 8 shooting. Idle Rock, 2 of 2 from the stripe, so 2 clutch ones. It's Oklahoma by a handful. Boy, the Sooners were down much of that first half. Went into the break down 2, but they've controlled the tempo here in the second.
I like the move to put Bean on Groves. You know Horvath's tentative, so let Bean be more aggressive on him. Good job by Coach Odom.
There's a turnover. That's the first Oklahoma turnover in about 20 minutes of game time. Oh, Horvath! The throwdown! Timeout, Oklahoma.
Hey, this kid was 5'9" as a senior in high school. I don't think he had this.
Still 8:22 to
and
go.
Don't forget, like, you should add another 3 rebounds for all the over-the-back and box-out calls that he's forced on the other end of the court. He's not getting credit for those, but he's certainly racked up some personal fouls on the Sooners as Utah State shows zone for the second time this game.
Oh, wow, that pass was wild off the backboard. Utah State has a chance to potentially tie. It's trailed for much of the second half.
And Kevin, Coach Moser's got to be frustrated. They went over the zone. He said, look, they don't play much zone, but we're going to go over it anyway. Just not executing out of the timeout.
Horvath had the 2-hand rim-rattling rock earlier. It's caught underneath. Nimble footwork off that time. Harkless down with the board.
See, I'd rather see Horvath get that ball 15 to 20 feet away from the basket as opposed to being closer. That's advantage Groves.
Oh, Harkless was going one way and Goldwire skipped the pass the other. So Goldwire takes a seat. You've got the freshman Alston Mason checks in at a pretty critical moment. It's Mason, Harkless, Tanner Groves, Hill, and Gibson for Oklahoma.
Goldwire's got to have a short memory. They rely on his veteran leadership. 4 turnovers in this one. Yes, he's frustrated, but they're going to need him down the stretch.
Smaller Gibson, or pardon, Mason on Horvath. Beautiful feed to Bean. Big to big again. He's just so slippery on the baseline.
You can't blink. His baseline cuts. He never stops moving. Now all of a sudden Utah State is playing their style of basketball.
19 and a career high, 17 rebounds for Justin Bean. He's got it. Kicks out. Horvath puts it up. Short.
Boy, I thought Bean might have been able to just finish that one at the rim, you know. But yeah, you had Horvath open, but may have had it easier too.
OU still ahead by 1.
When I talk about ball watching, Kevin, you just can't take a play off. 34 in blue is always moving, especially along the baseline. And this time Groves is pointing at his man, looking at ball. But look at 35 in white. He stares at the ball. You can't do that. He's slipping under the basket. He's like, oh, God, Coach told me 1,000 times, and I still gave it up.
He's pretty good, man. He has completely announced himself.
He's not alone. I mean, Bean has back cut just about every defender that's been put on him this season.
Hey, by the way, 4 fouls on Horvath with 6:33 to go. He's on the bench, and you've got a smaller lineup out there. As a matter of fact, Bean is the tallest Aggie. He's 6'7".
Well, I like that look there. They had Hill on the post up against Miller.
Yeah, it was a foul on Miller, his second. So that's the 5th team foul on Utah State. Horvath's going to sit for a few minutes here. And yeah, Groves can go to work here. Hill, the follow slam. Jalen Hill, boy, he has had a terrific second half. The X factor, making plays in critical moments.
Yeah, Hill's like, I was on the wrong side of the highlight, but I'm going to get me one too. Hill's been terrific. I mean, his plus minus in this game for the Sooners, he's a plus 10 right now in a 1-point game. Shows you how valuable he's been.
He makes the effort plays. There's a bump on the baseline.
He's been extremely active too. Inside shots, inside rebounds, and Miller just forgets to box his man out. And again, so much of that is the attention Groves draws. you got 3 or 4 guys staring at them, forgetting about their man.
It's Oklahoma by 3 in the championship game of the Myrtle Beach Invitational.
I like this post up. There it is.
Here's Hill.
Yeah.
Easy deuce.
Yeah, that's easy money right there for Hill. Mouse in the house.
Bean wants it. And Groves falls. And Bean now has 21. He is relentless. 3-point game.
Yeah, I go right back to it. Keep posting Miller. Treat him like your 5-man.
Instead, Goldwire got caught on the baseline.
Better job by Miller, but
Jones had to come over to try to slap it away. Shot clock winding down. Harkless rises. Oh, big triple. Elijah Harkless.
yeah, he's loving it. He was just 1 of 5 in the first half from beyond the arc. That time makes the most of his 3-point opportunity. Shows the emotion.
He's the 4th Sooner in double figures. Goldwire, he smothers Jones. Groves the board, Goldwire in a hurry. Groves steps into it. Ashworth the board. 2-score game. Intense one for the title. Bean was looking to cut once more. It got poked away by Goldwire.
How good has Goldwire been? Goldwire sent to the bench after his 4th turnover, gathers himself, takes a deep breath, comes in, and immediately forces 2 turnovers at a critical point in this game. You got to love that response from a senior.
Boy, the pace has gotten a little chaotic. Jones to the rack for 2. Ryland Jones, Danny, had that scary collision with the scorers table earlier. He was only on the bench for just a couple of minutes. Oh, Ashworth blocks Harkless.
I just don't like the shot to begin with. Too early in the possession. Same side offense. Don't get a chance to rotate it.
The 6'1" backup guard, Steve Ashworth, who's got it now with a gigantic block. Jones for 3. Tipped, and Groves the board. Goldwire puts the right hand out. Slows it down. His Sooners ahead by 4. Oh, and a turnover. Lead feed. Brock Miller, 2-point game with 3:04 to go. Timeout, Oklahoma.
Hustle plays that Utah State is staying in this game with.
You've got a player like Horvath, number 4 in the Navy. He's playing with 4 fouls. Groves, they're playing with 3 personals. 10 to shoot. They find the big man. 1 big dribble, and he bruises in for another bucket. 16 for Groves.
Well, he was open about 3 times in that possession, then just buried the defender down low.
Less than 2.5 to play. Bean, oh, what a look. Horvath went flying. And he's grabbing his mouth. He hit the ground hard. That's the 4th foul on Groves.
Kevin, this is like when a quarterback throws it to a receiver on the back shoulder type play when the defensive back isn't looking at, he just anticipates where Horvath is going to go. Really not a great decision. Put him in a no-win situation, but Groves was in a tough spot as well.
Boy, and Horvath, he came down hard. Face hit the ground. He's shaking off the officials. He's saying, I'm good to go.
I tell you, on the other end, though, Kevin, Horvath was doing a good job of getting in front of Groves. Right now, they're playing behind him a little bit with Bean, and Groves is just burying guys down low. I know you don't want Horvath to pick up a 5th, but somebody's got to front the post with Groves.
These 2 teams combined are now 21 of 21 at the stripe. No one's missed a freebie. Utah State, Dane, they're a perfect 16 of 16. Boy, this has been entertaining. Utah State led by as many as 5 in the first half. Oklahoma by as many as 7 in the second half. Well, the championship game is a 2-point game. Coming up on the 2-minute mark. Gibson accelerates, picks up the dribble, kicks to Goldwire, lets it fly. Ashworth comes down with it. Utah State can either tie or take a lead. Remember, the Aggies have 2 timeouts. Porter Moser just has 1 left. Both teams bonus. The superstar gives off to Miller, lets it fly, and swishes it. Brock Miller, a clutch triple, and Utah State reclaims the lead for the first time since the first half. Hill is open. Here come the Aggies. Boy, Horvath is asking Pat Adams for time. Well, he was limping on the way down, and he is calling for the athletic staff. He's reaching at the right ankle.
He did tweak that ankle.
Collision.
Yeah. I think he came out to contest, and to show you how unselfish he is, he's limping up the court. He did not want the refs to stop play in case the Aggies had numbers. And then once he realized everybody was back, he said, hold on, I got one here.
Boy, these are just 2 tough teams. Horvath with 13.
How about the shot by Miller, though, as they tend to Horvath? I mean, this was a guy coming into the game 5 for 20 from deep, yet still shoots with so much confidence, has a beautiful stroke, just a matter of time before he started seeing it go through the hoop, and none bigger 3-point shot on the season than what you just saw from Miller.
Boy, Horvath is not putting any weight at all on that right ankle. So he's on the right side of the paint. Oh.
Looks like it was Groves' foot going down through the lane. That's 3 big bodies, Bean, Horvath, and Groves.
Boy, fantastic championship game. 1-point lead for the Aggies after that Miller 3. No Horvath, that could be critical. So it's Ashworth, Bean, Idle Rock, Jones, and Miller. Oklahoma goes a little smaller as well. It needs a defensive stop. The Sooners were up by as many as 7 in this half. Now down 1. Idle Rock is open. Here's Nolan. One minute to go. Goldwire, Harkless. Oh, offensive foul. Jones takes another. Time and time again this weekend, Rylan Jones.
Yeah, only a matter of time before you said charge. Jones takes it in the chest. He is a step ahead of the offense all the time, rotates, sacrifices his body. How many times have we seen him either get laid out on an illegal screen, dives into the scorer's table, and that time picks up the biggest charge of the game.
Oklahoma needs to stop. You don't want to foul, though. That would put Utah State at the line. Both teams in the bonus. The Aggies by 1. 35 seconds. Ashworth back to Miller. Lets it go. Buckets! Brock Miller nails another. 4-point lead. 24 seconds. And they whistle Rylan Jones for the reach. That's going to put Oklahoma at the line for a 1-and-1. Let's quickly check in with the studio before this finish.
Okay, Kevin, thank you. Rylan Jones, a Utah transfer, doing it all under 4 minutes to go before Clemson and West Virginia take the floor right after you fellas are done. Kev, back to you.
All right, Zubin. Big free throws coming up. Umoja Gibson. 3-point game.
Kevin, you got Miller with back-to-back triples. The married man, father-to-be in March, playing like he's got somebody and a family to feed. Man, it's stepping up big. Not done yet, though. Clutch free throws by Gibson.
I mean, you nailed it. He and his wife, Bailey, expecting their first child in March. We asked him, I said, boy, he says boy. Boy is expected on March 4th. What a sequence for Miller. So now Oklahoma has to be ultra aggressive. Timeout taken by the Aggies. You've got 18.6 left. Oklahoma's going to have to, pardon me, the Aggies will inbound it once again in that deadly corner after the timeout.
Yeah, and you can't run the baseline there.
No,
that's a big trap, and a nice job by Oklahoma not fouling in that situation. In hindsight, if you're Jones, you'd really like to have a quick pass back to Bean, who took the ball out of bounds, as opposed to giving up that trap.
All right, so the Gibson free throws, Dane, they were critical. It's a 2-point game. Now, here's the thing. If you're Oklahoma, you're going to have to foul. How much time can you allow trying to go for the steal?
I think you can do it all. Try to get your trap steals. Once it gets past half court, then you got to foul.
Yeah.
But we talked about it. Where Oklahoma has the edge is on athleticism. So right now you've got a dead ball, corner, out of bounds. It is guard your man, face guard, athlete against athlete. See if Oklahoma can't force a turnover and get a pick-six type play at the rim.
Oh, man, good finish coming up. Each team with one timeout. So if Utah State gets caught, they still have one. And again, every foul the rest of the way is going to result in free throws. Possession arrow favors Oklahoma on a potential tie-up. Again, these two teams met last 82 and a half years ago. They've only played once. Oklahoma won that game. That was actually the Elite Eight of the 1939 NCAA tournament. So it's a...
Check out the height difference.
Man.
You got your smallest player against the tallest player on the inbounds pass. Might be some vision issues here.
That's Rick Izanza. Bean. Fouled by Hill. Porter Moser goes to the surrender Cobra move, and he is working Brian O'Connell, saying, are you sure Hill fouled him?
A nice execution for the Aggies. You always want your best passer taking the ball out of bounds. Jones calmly finds Bean, with their star having a chance to make this a two-possession game.
The unflappable, heady veterans, Jones and Bean there. Bean 83% from the stripe, entering this game 3 of 3 today. He's got 2 with 14.8 left. It's a 2-possession game if he makes this one. Groves comes back in along with Gibson and Goldwire. Utah State lost its lead, was down 7 earlier this half. They not only reclaimed the lead, they're now 14.8 away from the championship. Big one right here. And here we go, door is open. 12 seconds, Goldwire. Oklahoma with a timeout. Goldwire to the rack and scores. 1-point game, 6.9 on the clock. And a timeout taken. Porter Moser uses his last one. Here's the 5th-year senior. Transfers from Duke because he wants an opportunity on the offensive end, and here's a big play.
I was thinking 3. You were thinking 3. Utah State was thinking 3. Goldwire was like, no, there's enough time. Let me take it to the rack. Almost gets the and one. Really nice job of getting a quick 2 for your team. So we saw what happened on the last out of bounds underneath. Utah State too easily able to get Bean the ball. Oklahoma's going to have to be much more aggressive and quicker with their denials if they're going to come up with a turnover here. And of course, if you can't get the quick turnover, immediate foul. But that miss by Bean, the first missed free throw in this game. 25-25 combined prior to that front rim.
You know, when you're 18 of 19 from the stripe as a team, that's a really good day. I think right now you're thinking, man, that would have given us the 2-point cushion. But instead, Utah State with possession, 6.9 left. Again, possession arrow favors the Sooners. And Utah State does have that timeout should it need to use it if there's any trouble inbounding the ball.
And they've made substitutions now. We'll see. Porter Moser may decide, hey, let's not put anybody on the ball. Let's use that on-ball defender as an extra kind of safety to help deny across the perimeter here. They can run the baseline. They're going to put Goldwire on the ball to try to bother Jones, but yeah, he's got his back to Jones. I like that better than the last one they had when they subbed the taller defender in. Watch Zero and White. He's going to kind of play man and ball a little bit and help out the others.
That's Goldwire. Jones, home run. Bean, he's dribbling it out. 4 seconds. And a whistle with 3.9. They complete the deep pass.
Great execution. You can't fault Oklahoma, but Bean is just a mismatch nightmare. No matter where you put him on the court, even in the press breaker, he's just going to go up and come back. And that's what you got to do. You got to sell out on the denial. And it's a gutsy call by Coach Odom and this staff, but wide open bomb there.
Man, that was skillfully drawn up. Ryan Odom. He chats with his 3.9 left, and Justin Bean, who went 1 of 2 from the stripe just a couple of moments ago, has 2 coming up. And then it's whatever happens. Oklahoma's got no timeouts and one last chance.
And look, so Bean gives up the 2-point shot. I mean, he could have done that, but at the same time, then it's a 1-possession game, and Oklahoma has more time on the clock as opposed to earning it the hard way, 2 at the stripe. So a lot of confidence shown by a guy that just comes off a missed free throw, not to take the easy way out and say, you know what, let's run clock. I got 2 for you at the line. We'll make Oklahoma try to hit a 3 on us in 4 seconds instead of 7.
If there's one thing Justin Bean doesn't lack, and it's not just rebounds, I think it's confidence as well. So, all right, there was contact with about, what, 4.5, nearly 5 seconds. Our officials.
And then there was contact at 3.9. That was a little extra shot at the end. But yeah, should be, I don't know, around 4.4 or so.
I would think they're going to put a little more. All right, 4.6 now on the clock. And again, Porter Moser doesn't have a timeout. So regardless of 2 makes or make, miss, make, they're going to have to inbound it and go.
Well, this would be a situation as Oklahoma starts dribbling up the court. I like the foul in the backcourt. Don't even let them come up for the 3.
Don't take the 3.
Because there's so little time left. If you can foul with 2 seconds left before they get up past half court, now all of a sudden you force a situation where they're going to intentionally miss a free throw.
Justin Bean, a game-high 22. 19 rebounds, his 4th double-double in 5 games. 2 to make it a 3-point lead. Oklahoma has Harkless, Goldwire, Gibson, Hill, and Noland out there. And they want a nice, comfortable trip back to Logan. Gibson, Utah State can win it.
Gibson, 2 and White's your quickest ball handler and best shooter.
Cash, 3-point lead. And so Oklahoma must hit a triple to force overtime.
And they're prepared for it. They've got their play in mind. They don't need a timeout. Guys are instructing one another.
And that's the caveat. They've got to inbound it in the backcourt.
I think they're going to try to get Groves in the middle and let him dish it off to 2 and White.
Utah State by 3. Here we go. Hill to inbound. He's got Groves. Quick pass. Goldwire fouled. just as you pointed out, would Utah State send Oklahoma to the line and eliminate that chance at a 3? Clock says 2.6, so 2 seconds came off.
Yeah, and now you got to do 3 things if you're Oklahoma. You got to make the first free throw, you got to get the offensive rebound on the second, and then you got to score it. So I like this. Again, it's all about what have you practiced. You can't just implement this right away, and clearly Utah State has practiced this scenario, and they knew what they were going to do.
Man, how good has this one been? First things first, like you said, Goldwire's got to hit one. 9 of 9 at the stripe this year, but his first at the line today. No. Horvath, 1 second. Game over. And Utah State wins the Myrtle Beach Invitational, coming back from 7 down in the second half, and they upend Oklahoma.
The guts of the Aggies. Justin Bean, if you don't know, now you know. Welcome to the national scene.
24 for Bean. He was brilliant to go along.